Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it.
Hello. Welcome to Super Fast Tortoises MTG 3, the show about 3 cards I like for Cube. And so let's start with a card that I like very much. This card is a pet card of mine before I tell you what it is. This is one of my favorite cards to play in Commander, and it's a card I put in my own cube just for the flavor and the feels. The card is called Unexpected Results. It costs 2 generic, a blue and a green, and is a sorcery. It reads, shuffle your library, then reveal the top card of your library. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost if it's an online card. If the card revealed is a land card, you may put that land into play, then put Unexpected Results back into your hand. This card is amazing. This card is awesome. I just love it, just for its sheer randomness. It can grab you cards like Emrakul on the high end, and sometimes it'll grab you a land and return the card to your hand, which, no matter how you look at it, this card gives you value, even if it's on the low end. This card alone fits into any Simic Commander deck. I have Unexpected Results in my Chilean Teller of Tales deck, and I think it fits well in that kind of a big creature deck, but I also run this card in my Turtle deck. Turtle! The next card on my list is a favorite of mine as well. I like this card a lot. This card is fair, it can be dealt with, but I just like the flavor of this card. The card is an enchantment aura, and it steals a creature, and it gives infect. What card is that? I don't know why I'm acting weird, but the card is Corrupted Conscience. Corrupted Conscience costs 3 generic and 2 blue. It's an enchantment aura. It says enchant creature. You control enchanted creature. Enchanted creature has infect. An infect says it deals damage to creatures in the form of -1/-1 counters and to players in forms of poison counters. This card is amazing. It's a removal spell in cube. Simple as that, for 5 mana. But it nets you a creature. Now, an opponent can kill the creature, but you're 2 for 1-ing your opponent if they do. And if they can't, this card makes it very strong and a big threat that your opponents have to deal with, even though it was your opponent's creature. I love this card. This card fits in I have this card in my Estrid the Mask deck because it's an enchantment and it works in that theme, and usually my opponents have big scary creatures I need to get rid of, and my enchantments deck do not work with creatures a lot, even though I like creatures, so I steal my opponent's creatures. I also have this card in my Thraximunder deck. That commander deck is about making your opponents sacrifice their creatures and keep their board states low, but sometimes I want to steal their creature. That's what makes this card good. And the third card I like on today's episode is called Eater of Virtues. Now, this card is pretty solid in cube, especially for the aggro decks and the decks that don't care for reanimation, if you're not worried about getting cards back from the graveyard, especially creatures. But for those decks that have small creatures that want to attack big early as possible and get buff, you're going to cast Eater of Virtues. Eater of Virtues costs 1 generic and has equip 1. It says whenever equipped creature dies, exile it. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. As long as a card is exiled with Eater of Virtues, has flying, equipped creature has flying. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Protection, Reach, trample, and vigilance. Now that big slew of words is not super important, but can be in the right builds. What's important is this is another Dark Steel Axe kind of card, or Bone Splinter kind of card. Those cards are really strong for their early game aggressive decks. I like this card a lot because it adds that third value, and there are other cards like Bone Splitter and Dark Steel Axe, but Eater of Virtue has a equip cost of 1 and cost 1 mana to cast, which puts it at an aggressive angle, and I like that card a lot. So I like that fact a lot. Now, I have Eater of Virtues in my Rafik of the mini deck because Rafik cares about getting those small creatures on the ground and swinging them fast and building up quick. Eater of Virtue being the third in the set of artifacts that give my creatures +2/+0 for that early game buff makes it aggressive. And that is why I like it. And those are the 3 cards I like for Cube. And they just happen to fit in Commander. That brings us to the end of the video. And within the 3 cards today, what are the 3 cards you like the most? And to answer last week's question, why do you have 2 mana untapped? It's to say, nope. And the comment question of the day for you to answer in the comments below is, what are you equipping to your creatures? And I'll answer that next week. See you later.